Since you guys really enjoy my mount guides, especially the easy mounts, I decided to follow it up after a while with another 10 easy mounts you can get within an hour or two. The first one up is the Swarmite Skyhunter, probably the easiest mount to get in the new expansion. All you have to do to get this little guy is collect every skywriting glyph that are spread across all 4 zones of the War Within. I will put a link in the description for these and their locations, since if I showed you every location, this video would take longer than it should take. What I would recommend you guys to make this whole glyph hunting a lot easier is get the TomTom add-on, which allows you to paste in the coordinates of those glyphs and just following the green arrow showing you the way. You will also always know you're close to a glyph, since your mount will sense it and let you know in the chat. Another very easy mount to get is the Delver's Dirigible, and as the name suggests, all you have to do for this one is complete a few delves. To get this mount you will have to reach max level first and then make your way to Bran Bronzebeard in Dornogal and accept his Ship It quest, which is a small introduction quest for delves which shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes of your time honestly. Although this mount doesn't look the best, it has the feature to be customized with different blueprints and items which you can either buy or collect from delves themselves. The next mount we're gonna get today is the Red Flying Cloud. You can buy this mount for 600 gold from a vendor in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, once you reach Exalted with the Lore Walkers. Now you may think that getting Exalted will take you ages, but what if I told you that you need 1 hour at most? Essentially, all you need to do to be Exalted is fly around the Mist of Pandaria zones and click on several scrolls spread around the map. Clicking on those scrolls will give you achievements, and the items that will grant you the reputation later will be mailed to you. I will put the locations of these scrolls down in the description below. Now, as I said earlier when I talked about the Swarmite Skyhunter, I highly recommend you getting the TomTom add-on and paste in the coordinates just to make your life a whole lot easier. Once you have all the scrolls and picked up the items from your mailbox, go to Lore Walker Cho on top of the Wogushan Palace. Hand in the items and you will be Exalted just like that. You could get Exalted without collecting all the scrolls, but I would still recommend you just following the route and picking up everything. Otherwise you might get confused with the routing, making it way harder for yourself than it should be if you missed a little bit of reputation at the end. Now all you have to do is go to the Lore Walker vendor and buy the mount. That's it. If you enjoyed the mounts until now and don't want to miss any future uploads of mine, consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. That way I know what you guys want to see and what you guys enjoy. And if you ever change your mind or just don't feel like watching my content anymore, there's no shame in removing the sub. Thank you to everyone watching and supporting me on my journey, and now let's continue with the next 2 mounts. The next 2 mounts we're getting now are the Riding Camels, which you get from the Ramkahan reputation. Again, getting Exalted with this reputation shouldn't take you more than an hour honestly. To start the rep farm, you will have to make your way to the southwestern part of Tanaris and talk to this NPC right here. What I would recommend you guys for this rep farm and many rep farms in the future is to turn on the low level quest option in your minimap, so you never miss a potential quest and don't get lost, since you might lose track on what quest you're on and what quest might still be missing. Anyways, follow the whole introduction quest line and eventually you will get to this main base area where you will turn in the Escape from the Lost City quest, where you can choose between gold or reputation. Here I recommend picking reputation obviously, since we need that more right now. Now continue doing their quest line, and once you reach friendly, which shouldn't take you that long, go back to Ramkahan and buy the tabard from the quartermaster of the city right here. This tabard allows you to gain reputation while inside any cataclysm dungeon. Equip the tabard and spam any cataclysm dungeon. Now usually I would have recommended you guys to do Grim Batol because of the high mob density, but since Grim Batol is currently on the Season 1 Mythic Plus rotation, it just isn't possible to solo on Heroic right now. The next best option is to do the Lost City of Tolvir. Each run takes around 5 minutes and grants you a total of around 1300 reputation, so around 15,600 rep an hour. All you have to do now is repeat this process until you're Exalted, which should take you around 2 hours, maybe a little longer if you're a slower class. Once you're done, go back to the same guy you bought the tabard from and buy the 2 camel mounts. Buying both of them will cost you no more than 200 gold, so it's basically for free. The next easy mount is the Soaring Meaderbee. This one requires you to collect 900 sizzling cinder pollen. You get these by killing these elite bees in the forest just east of Dornogal, right before the Cinderbrew Meadery dungeon entrance. I would recommend you trying to find a group for this farm, since these mobs can be hard to solo. Just open up your group finder and look through the groups in the custom tab, and you should find a fitting group relatively quickly. If you're a 5-man group, this farm should take you around 1 to 2 hours max. Once you got your 900 cinder pollen, go to this vendor right here, close to where you farmed all your stuff, and buy the mount off of him. Next up is the Cenarion War Hippogryph mount from the Cenarion Expedition reputation from the Burning Crusade. To start this reputation farm, head over to Zangarmarsh and go to this big lake right here. Go down underwater and you will see a metal pipe thingy. Go through there and you will end up in the Coil Fang Reservoir, with the option to enter 3 dungeons and 1 raid. The best dungeons to farm this reputation, from my experience, is either the Steam Vault or the Underbog dungeon. Again, make sure that your dungeon difficulty is set to heroic. Make sure you don't kill any of the bosses inside. Otherwise, you won't be able to reset the dungeon, and you'll either have to farm the rest of the reputation the next day, or you'll have to start over on another character. Each run of those dungeons grant you approximately 1650 reputation with the Cenarion expedition, and will take you around 5 minutes again. So around 20,000 rep an hour again. The only downside, which could take you longer depending on your class, is the run back time to the entrance to reset the dungeon. What I would recommend you here is doing this rep farm on either a Death Knight, a Monk, or a Druid, since they can basically trick the system and teleport back to the entrance of the dungeon. To do that all you have to do is use the Death Gate on a Death Knight and then use it again to be teleported back, use Zen Pilgrimage twice on your Monk to be teleported back, or use Dreamwalk or Teleport Moonglade if you didn't upgrade it twice for the same effect. There might be more spells like that, but these 3 are the only ones that I know about at this moment. Let me know if I missed a spell that has the same effect in the comments below. Once you're done, go to this Cenarion rep vendor right here and buy the mount. The next mount is the Silverwind Larion, and this one should take you around 40 to 60 minutes, since you will have to fly around all of Bastion in the Shadowlands and collect exactly 50 anima crystals. Mostly outdoors, but some of them are inside the dungeons within Bastion. Again, as I said with the Grimbot Hole, make sure you don't go inside the Necrotic Wake in Mythic difficulty, since that one is also currently on the Mythic Plus rotation, which will make it impossible to be soloed. If you're watching this at any later point in time, after the Season 1 of the War Within is over, you can ignore what I just said and go in whatever difficulty you like. What I would recommend you guys is getting the Handy Notes add-on with the Shadowlands plugin. That way the locations of all 50 crystals will be shown on your minimap, making it easier to collect them all and not get lost during it. If you install TomTom from any of the mounts I mentioned before, you can also just paste in the coordinates again of each crystal inside the add-on. That also works. Once you collected all 50 crystals, make your way to this NPC right here, next to the entrance of the Spice of Ascension dungeon, and if you didn't miss any crystals, he will craft you the Crystal Mallet of Heralds, which you will now have to take to this spot right here and use the hammer on this bell. Once you rank the bell, the mount will fly down and drop a chest with the Silverwind Larion inside. And last but not least, the Bronze Drake. I know, everyone has this mount, and if someone is talking about easy mounts, this is probably the first one that comes to mind, but it's still a mount more for your 500 mounts collection nonetheless. For the 2 people that don't know or own this mount, all you have to do for this one is enter the Calling of Stratholme dungeon in the Caverns of Time on heroic difficulty. Once inside, you walk up this little hill and Chromie will be there waiting for you. Speak to her and she will tell you to cleanse some crates around the village before you can go to Stratholme itself. Once that's done, you can go to Stratholme and start the encounter with Arthas, who will follow you throughout the dungeon. Now this part is pretty linear, but you still have a time limit for the mount to drop, so don't go AFK for longer periods while you're inside the dungeon. Clear most of the dungeon, but before we follow Arthas to the last boss Mal'Ganis, we take a left and go through this path. At the end of the road, you will find an infinite corruptor. Kill him, and if you did all this inside the respective time limit, you will get the Bronze Drake. These are obviously not the only easy mounts out there in the World of Warcraft. If you want to collect more of them, some of them even in under 30 minutes, which you never even heard of, click on this video right here, where I show you 12 more mounts to collect. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribe to my channel. Anyways, I wish you all a great day and I will see you in the next video.